Power. Every morning, I work at the 4 sections of my life that I'm going to talk about in a moment. And the real reason that I do that is to build reserves of power. They're power that power me through the day. They're the reserves that I have that if I really get worn out or stress really starts to get to me, I can lean back and know that I've done these things that give me that resilience and strength. And it's also why I started this channel, because I grew up alongside my husband at the time. I met him when we were 19. And so we grew up alongside each other. And in that relationship, both overtly and so subtly, nothing he ever asked me to do, but I basically gave away my power. He never asked for that. He had a strong personality, but he was not domineering. This was an abdication of my own design. And so when my marriage collapsed and when my son left for college, it was a pretty abrupt yanking away of both the mask that I'd worn and really showing me how I had just given my whole self away. And so, what I try to do here at Body of Truth is, first of all, demonstrate that I have been there. I have laid on the floor. I know what it's like to have trouble breathing because everything you thought you knew in your life has proved to be not true. And it wasn't always like that for me and Rob, but the ending was. And then my discovery I always go back to, and what dramatically shifted and changed my life, was inhabiting my body and allowing the wisdom that each one of us has inside our body as our birthright to help me change the paradigms and the decision making in my mind. So I literally now have a new set of right and wrong, yes and no, that I automatically go to through my body as a muscle memory. And it changed everything for me. So if you are looking for change, or if you are looking maybe just to activate a little bit, I try to share with you everything that I learned and that has given me power. So here are the 4 sections of my life, and here is how I empower them. First and foremost is my body. Now, not everybody's place of power is their body. Some people, their relationship with God and their meditations give them such a surge of power that it flows through them for their whole day. I start with my body. My first thing that I do is I move my body. I always make sure during the day at some point that I have touched some sort of really good nutrition. I'll call it a green juice, green smoothie. It sometimes it takes different forms, but that I'm focusing in some part on my nutrition. And that's that section. My relationship with God is huge. It's something that really I didn't have growing up. And during the course of my marriage, I really lost that kind of connection with the universe and with God. And God to me is Father and Mother God. It's not just a single kind of Western metaphor of God, but it is my creator. It is without sex. It is simply my creator. And it is the closeness and the feeling of something bigger than me that empowers me through my day as well. And I do that through meditation. I do that through journaling. And I do some really strategic journaling techniques that I'm going to share with you in another video. Then, of course, it's gratitude. Gratitude for the people in your life, because in this life, in this body, what do we have around us? Of course, money is a fantastic tool to use for freedom. But what do you want to do with your freedom? Do you want to use your time to do something with the things that the people that you love? So I always make sure that I am speaking with someone or some, not even someone I talk to every day, but someone who has had an impact in my life, and I make sure that they know the impact that they had. And I've said this before, that the gift is really to you for sending it. And then if you get a response, that's lovely, but that's not even the intention. The intention is to let them know that their presence in your life really feeds you and that you love them. And then the last one is being extremely cognizant of how responsible you're being with your finances and money and where you're going in your career or business. So I say this as someone who is constantly opening this frontier for herself. One of my mentors once used this phrase, and it completely changed the game for me. He said that if you treated your wife with the neglect with which you treat your money, you'd have been divorced years ago. And I thought that through. And I thought through that falsehood that people that are deep and think about spiritual things aren't supposed to want anything material, which is such a garbage because money's just a tool for freedom. You could use it for starting a foundation. I mean, it's a tool, right? That doesn't ever create happiness in itself. It's a tool to help you create that happiness. But I also had this mental view of scarcity where I allowed myself to stay absolutely in scarcity because I equated just brute materialism with achievement. Those aren't the same things at all. In no way are they the same things. But the neglect that I just neglected to be a really good steward for my money. That's no longer the case. In fact, I take an extremely proactive nature with that, but that was not where I started from. That's something that I abdicated when I was married. That's something that went over to my husband, and I got to take this extremely passive role, and really to my own detriment. So that's something that I really also try to build my power with throughout the day. So those are the sectors that I use. I feed them, and in turn, they feed me. When I am worn out, it is the end of my day. My tasks are like not done, not even close to being done. And it is that reserve that I draw on that feeds me. And the more you feed it, the more it feeds you back. And it becomes this beautiful symbiosis of building your power. I wonder if there's one of these specific areas where you feel that you are maybe leaking power from. Do you have full on discussions with God? I do, out loud, all the time. Have you reached out to someone that's been on your mind and let them know that you're thinking of them? Have you pushed your body to the edge where you've gasped and been like, oh, jeez, that hurts? All of these things for me bank power. They stoke my fire to continue. And I offer that the simple, absolutely continuous and consistent application of certainly something that's lacking, but in all of these areas will slowly, I call it like the invisible golden layer, right? Each layer is so transparent. They're so transparent, but they build and they build and they build into bricks of gold. And that's what I want for you. And that's what I practice every single day is banking that power so when I need it and I reach back into my quiver for that arrow, it is fucking there. So give that some thought today. Where are you leaking power and where are you building it? And share it with me. I will see you tomorrow.